So, feels a little different in Zach's chair today. Get to drive, stay in control. We got David Doris joining us.
Hey.
Anyway, it's good to be with y'all. So we got some, Zach likes to start with a quote. This is one of his quotes, actually. The real change lies not in implementing a new process, but in getting people to hold one another accountable to the process. Crucial Conversations, a book that he quotes a lot. I like that one, but you're a quote guy. Like you give me lots of quotes along over the years. So I asked you to give.
So we're going to try some of mine today. So I guess we'll see how this goes with without Zach here. I feel like kind of like the third string quarterback. Like two people got hurt, and now we got the guy who doesn't know the plays coming in here. So let's see how it goes. I learned that from Zach too. That's anchoring from Never Split the Difference. Set a low bar, and then we'll work up from there.
You're anchoring the process. Set expectations low.
Yeah.
I feel differently. I think you're going to crush it. So right. This quote's a good one.
Yep. I know the price of success: dedication, hard work, and unremitting devotion to things you want to see happen. Frank Lloyd Wright. And so
Frank Lloyd Wright, a great architect, widely considered to probably be the best architect in the history of all architects.
Yeah. I think a lot of times we're looking for whatever it is, leads or that button to push to kind of have the answer, and sometimes this is a good one to just remind you that it's hard work. And
you think like an architect, sometimes they're just like, they're just naturally talented, they have this vision, but it takes like just a devotion to just knocking it out.
And to knowing where you want to go.
All right, I like that one. All right, what else we got?
Things may come to those who wait, but only things left by those who hustle. Abraham.
Abe Lincoln.
Yep.
Honest Abe. That's
so we talk about it a lot, but the idea of abundance and kind of waiting back, if it's meant to be, it'll happen. And I think this helps. Even in patience, you have to hustle. So you have to keep it on your mind and be thinking about it. And I think sometimes it can be an excuse for lazy. So this is a good one to.
All right, I like that one. Oh, here's good.
Yeah. Don't find fault, find a remedy.
Henry Ford,
yep. Just figure it out.
Fix the problem, not the blame.
Right.
All right. Here's a long one. All right.
Nothing
Calvin
in the world
Coolidge.
can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful people with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan "Press On" has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race.
Calvin Coolidge. So he was president like in the 20s,
yeah,
right?
He's our 30th president.
You could talk a little different back then,
Yeah.
Derelicts and things like that.
Right.
You can't really get away with that kind of language these days.
You can't. He became president when Warren G. Harding died. So he was vice president and then became president and then won his next term. But he's got an interesting story. His father was a shopkeeper in Vermont, and he worked his way up to become governor of Massachusetts, and then vice president, and then president. So
it's a great thing about America. You have your elected officials. I mean, Biden was kind of hard scrabble guy from Delaware.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
A minority and first generation
immigrant.
Her parents
Yeah.
were. So pretty. I'm always glad we don't live, under a monarchy or a king, where you're just kind of born into it.
Right.
Oh, Helen Keller.
A happy life consists not in the absence, but in the mastery of hardships.
That's good.
So.
Those are good, David.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's awesome. You can get the energy going here. Zach
start.
Brings so much energy. It's hard to.
I know,
it's hard
to.
What are you grateful for today, David?
Coffee, but.
Yeah.
Coffee going. I'm thankful for my family. My daughter is turning 7 this week. It's crazy. Time flies. So
awesome.
they're at a fun age.
So give us the breakdown. You got 4 kids. What are their ages?
Wyatt is 10. Francis turned 7 this week. Henry is 5, and Atticus is 3.
Ooh.
And
wow,
Henry,
so like 4 under the age of 10.
Yeah, they're but it's a fun time.
Yeah.
And so, funny quick story. But Henry just got a. He's all about money, keys, just keeping
Henry's
up with
your
Henry's
5?
my 3rd. Yeah,
5-year-old?
he's 5.
All right. So it's
he
about
just
money
got
early.
Yeah, he just got a stuffed animal, a seahorse, and he shortens everything when he names it, and so he's named it the Seahor. And the Seahor is currently for sale for $1. He's trying to move the Seahor. It's been dropped down from $2. So, anyway, so if anybody's looking for that, he may be willing to negotiate further.
So my kids, I'm ahead of you by about a decade. So, but I also have 4. And so I had a funny story. It's funny or exasperating from just this morning. Riley, who's my second daughter, she's a junior in high school, and she either did not meet her expectations on her last math test, or she didn't set her expectations high enough, one or the other. So we're talking about that, in a calm way with her, and just but she felt like we're coming on a little strong about her grade, and that this grade wasn't high enough, and she said, I mean, she's got a lot going on, and it's all good stuff, but we got, friends with birthday parties at night. She's got a boyfriend, you got school stuff. She's working. She's got a job.
Yeah.
But she said, and it's her comeback when we were like, you need your time. You've got too much going on. She said, I have literally been studying all week. It's like, all right, let's talk about the word literally. Because like every night you had something else going on besides studying. So literally is not what you've been doing. You're literally exaggerating.
Yeah.
Is what you're doing. So you're in the physically exhausting stage of parenting, and I'm in the more mental exhausting stage.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful. Colin, again, just a reminder that she won. But more important than that, she's just really been stepping up around here as the principal broker in this office, and thankful for her and Brent Cooper to just what our newer agents are getting in terms of mentorship and training, just that dedicated time and attention from Brent is like, if you know someone who, we're not out trying to attract new agents, but if someone you feel like is a really good fit, I think Village's offering for that person to get them up and going is unrivaled in this market.
I think that's a hard thing in real estate too. Nobody holds you accountable and makes you come to work, you know, and Brent does a great job of really holding people accountable in that mentor program.
Cool. So as you know, pretty exciting. Today we're announcing who won the gift that we're going to be giving. So we're
Christmas party,
a holiday party. We can't, unfortunately. I love a good party, and this year just not going to cramming 300 to 500 people inside a room is not a smart thing to do.
Right.
So and at the same time, like we've been super blessed in living in Nashville, being in real estate, having stuff going on, and there's a lot of people who haven't are really struggling right now. So we thought, man, this would be a great idea to take our top 8 from Village Fund contributions and let everyone vote and narrow those down to 3. So we're going to wait until the end to announce that. A little cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Stay
with us.
Stay with us. So, let's see what Teddy has to say today.
Good morning, Village. Teddy Pins here on the Kidney Stone Surgery Recovery Hotline. Yeah, it was a doozy. Anyhow, I've got your education update for the week, and here's what we got. Wednesday, actually today after the sales meeting, we've got headshots. We have to sign up for that. There may be still availability. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we're doing our drive call 9. Thursday, we've got BNet training at 11 with Brent Cooper. We also have Future ahead pricing pros for doing that. It's been awesome. Next one's for that new Thanksgiving will be December 3rd, December 17th. We're almost to 2020. This is a good thing. Preview December 1st, land and developers, selling land, working with developers and builders, David Doris, Brian Stoltzfus, and Paul Ruff panel. Going to be amazing. December 3rd, Thursday, 2 to 3, Tech in the Field with, that is with Lee Fund and Friends. And then December 15th, we've got business planning with Zach Victor. That one you do not want to miss. Business planning, time to get on it. He's emailed some things, so be ready for that. Outside education, we've got two-day accrediting staging professional designation. That's 16 hours. That is on 17th and 18th. And then good gossip, that great class that Jesse Starloff puts on. That's on the 19th, Thursday, 1 hour CE. That's $45 for that one. On the Clarksville Association of Realtors. All right, your tech tip for today. I don't have, yeah. So just recently I was signing an offer, and you can take the listing. When in your email, you can click on the attachment, and you can load it straight to transaction desks on your iPhone. So that's a great way for efficiently for us non-document users to import your document straight into transaction desk for signing straight from there. So make sure you buff up on your transaction desk mobile app usage, because it comes in handy when your child's taking its first steps and undoubtedly your client wants to put an offer at that minute. Have a great one. Thank you, and hopefully I'll be vertical next week. Take care.
All right. Hopefully that came through. Natural, we might have some tech challenges without our man Zach here, but anyway, check out the education calendar. Headshots today, got a lot going on over the next couple of weeks, so take advantage of some of those opportunities to sharpen up your game. Interest rates ticked down a little bit over the last week, so we're at 2.65 on the 30-year and 2.25 on the 15-year.
I'm refinancing right now with Connie, because it's like the rates are crazy.
Yeah.
You gotta do it.
And Connie's the best, right?
Yeah, great.
I mean,
It's been great.
Steady Eddie is what I call it.
Yeah. I like that.
Oh, cool. All right. So markets closed at a record. These are year-to-date numbers. Closed at a record on Friday. Two things driving stock prices higher. One is that just the optimism that this vaccine is coming and coming quickly. And then the second is just stronger than expected corporate earnings. And so, what drives the market more than anything, we're looking out ahead, but the one kind of economic factor that's driving the market and really any business is what are profits doing? Are they growing? And if they're growing, companies are only worth a multiple of their earnings, right? And so retail kind of this week will be a focus. We'll get the retail sales numbers from October, and that'll tell us how the health of the overall consumer is doing. So far, the consumer seems to be bouncing back pretty good. Again, we mentioned that the vaccine is kind of driving the outlook for the market, and there's a couple of things. Yesterday, Moderna came out with their vaccine, and their results were even better than Pfizer's the week before. So we now have two competing vaccines that are well along in their trials, and they have they've asked to get expedited approval by the end of the month. And so that Anthony Fauci, who's the chief of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, said that the vaccines we're talking about are really the light at the end of the tunnel for COVID-19. If we can get those in place, I believe the Pfizer vaccine is 90% effective in preventing COVID, and the Moderna one is 94%.
Yeah.
So really strong results there. What could the vaccine mean for real estate kind of in the short term? Couple things. One, stronger economy. So that could be positive. The economy's healthy, people have more, going on.
It's back out. Yeah.
The only two other things to kind of be aware of. One is if the economy gets super strong, what does that do to interest rates? A lot of times the Fed starts to tick up interest rates because they're worried about inflation. And so some of these low interest rates we've been talking about could go back to where we were a year ago. I mean, my thought is it's just kind of we're back to where we were a year ago if this vaccine happens, and which a year ago is pretty good.
Rates were great, right? They're just better now.
Rates were great. The market was great. So that's one thing. There was something else about, just kind of we've had some migration trends with COVID. People moving out of cities and sort of wanting a little more space. And is that a short-term thing, or does that phenomenon have longer? Is that something people have decided in this? You know what? Having a little more space, a little more room. It's easier to work from home. It's more acceptable in a lot of times.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. So single-family rentals, this is a good thing that you may be talking to some of your investor clients about. And single-family rental is really having a moment in the market, and some of that's driven by those housing trends that we talked about, and then some of it may be just it's just a well-positioned asset class just in general. So if you have investors looking for single-family rentals, you can show them. This is a good slide showing just the occupancy rates have really strengthened over the last 10 years, from the low 90s to the mid to high 90s. That's really driving a lot of the returns. And then the other one is cap rates, and cap rates kind of have to do with the value and kind of what you're paying for the profits of a rental property. And so lower is actually better, so you can, in terms of value. And so you can see how they've declined steadily over the last 10 years, cap rates. Just if you're in real estate, you really ought to understand or have a cursory understanding of what cap rates are. And so you can take your net income on the property, your net operating income. So don't factor in your debt payment, because you can, for a property, you may put 60% debt on it, you may put 80% debt on it. So all your expenses except for your debt service net out of your.
It's always a confusing thing, because you feel like debt service is an expense.
It is an expense,
it is,
and you got to pay it. But in terms of for this purpose,
and for a cap rate, right?
For a cap rate, you just take your rent minus all your expenses except for your debt, and divide it by the price, and you're going to get the cap rate. And then, as you know from your algebra, you can also take the same number divided by the cap rate and get your price.
And the lower that number is, the bigger the price is.
Right, exactly.
That's always kind of a backwards thing. It's like golf. Negative is good.
Right. And you'll hear it's trading on a 6 cap,
Yeah.
And so that's stated as a whole number, but it's actually 6%. Right. Is what it is. So if you did this math on something and it came out to 0.06, be like, a 0.06 cap? No, that's a 6 cap.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. And like I said, it's what's my expected return, not factoring in debt payment. So it's a 6 cap. It's basically, if you paid all cash for the house, you'd expect a 6% return on that money, right? On that house. Smaller's better in terms of value. Higher's better if you're a buyer.
If you're a buyer, yeah.
So, all right. Okay, Nashville area jobs. Just thought this real quick was interesting because it's showing the bounce back in our local market. Really in every industry in our area, except for, as you can imagine, the leisure and hospitality line. You see that dip. And it's still, a good, probably 30,000 jobs below where we were early in the year. But the other, most of the other industries are all kind of getting back up to where we were. Other good news is that between July of 2019 and June of 2020, our area saw 29 new corporate relocations. So that's really a driver for people moving here and activity going on.
I think that's going back to the single family stuff for agents. think buying investment property with rates like they are, and with kind of seeing the market, seeing what Nashville's doing, it feels like the growth is continuing here. It's just such a great thing to do because it gives you so many exits. As a real estate agent, it could be a listing for you later, it could be a development project for you later, you could do new construction on it, and also tenants could become clients. So it just has so many avenues to help your business. And if you're looking to kind of do something, and we talk about the stock market and what all it's done, but I always felt like I can understand it, I can drive by it, it's always there,
Feeds your business.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
The CEO of Enron, was a fraud, and
you could
no
invest
one knew
in
it. Yeah. My duplex in Sylvan Park isn't going to be a fraud.
Yeah.
So.
That's a good point. I like that. So, so like I said, a good stat for people like, is this a good time to buy? Is it a good market? 29 new corporate relocations, 35 corporate expansions, meaning like they're bringing in some sort of another division or making a big hire, which resulted in another 5,700 jobs. Just the things that are driving Nashville's success haven't changed, right? We're a big enough city, have a lot going on, not too big to where it feels unlivable.
And it feels like the hospitality will come back. So that's the one thing that we're seeing.
Vaccines,
it feels like eventually.
And we're also 70% of the population can be serviced from Nashville with a one-day truck drive. So transportation-wise, and so if you got a business and you need to get product out, Nashville's a really good location for to reach 70% of our nation's population within a day's drive. Plus, you're like 2.5 hours from Louisville, where there's a big UPS hub, 2.5 hours from Memphis with a big FedEx hub. So you're kind of right there in the middle of this transportation spot. So, all right. So saw this headline and read the article. It's kind of in case you saw it, a change in the White House. So Biden coming in could change Nashville's white hot housing market. So another example of beware of the headline. This article is not bad at all and doesn't talk about really changing the state of our market. There are two things to be aware of that Biden's campaigned on. One is a $15,000 down payment tax credit for first-time home buyers. Now, none of this has happened yet, right? So this is his platform that he's hoping to get through Congress. To get it through Congress, that'll depend on who's got control of the House, who's got control of the Senate. We won't know who has control of the Senate until early January when they do the runoff of the 2 Senate races in Georgia. So you're probably hearing about that. Anyway, but this is part of Biden's platform that he ran on. First-time home buyer down payment tax credit of up to $15,000 for the use of the purchase. So that could be a good thing for real estate and first-time home buyers.
I remember they did that. I think it was $8,000
in 08, maybe?
In 08 or 09.
Yeah.
And it was a big thing. Lots of people were doing.
The other thing that could affect real estate is if the capital gains tax, his platform has it going from, it's currently, the long-term capital gains is 20%. And he has it going up to as much as 37%, depending on your tax bracket. And so,
which could just create less supply again.
Yeah, so we're already in tight inventory. If you had this tax credit with more buyers coming in, first-time home buyers, and then fewer people are wanting to sell investment properties because instead of paying 20%, they'll pay 37%. We may need more housing supply, or
So this article is just saying it's going to get even hotter than white hot.
That's right. Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's what
the change is whatever's.
It just reads kind of.
Whatever's past white hot is what we're
they didn't
going
know
blue
it.
hot.
Yeah.
And then I thought Zach had this slide a few weeks ago that I just think is worth remembering, just in terms of white hot market. I mean, the far left is November of 17. So, just 3 years ago, the median price was under $450,000, and now we're well north of, or I think this has been updated once. We're right at 550, and so that's a big move in 3 years in terms of your median list price on what's out there. So the market's changing. Okay, so thought this was interesting. You're kind of a investor yourself, David, and kind of have, but read this article from about Tom Corley. He wrote a book. It's about habits, and he did a study on 177 self-made millionaires. And basically, there are 4 different paths to becoming a millionaire, right? So one is the saver investor path, right? One is the big company climber path. So you go to work for a big company and just kind of work your way up the corporate ladder and end up in a big position that you become a millionaire. One is the virtuoso path. So that's like, I guess, like LeBron James or someone that has some huge talent that the market will pay him for. Pro tennis player, musician, some sort of musician. And then finally the entrepreneur path, which is like I build a company in my garage, sell it, that type of person. Not surprisingly, the most prominent, like over 50% of the people that were self-made millionaires got there through the saver investor path. Yeah. So I just thought that was kind of an interesting reminder. He said that
it's so true. I have a buddy who's a teacher and has been all along just a school teacher and just saves, and will be like, I like passing, like mowing a yard in the summer when he's off, like saving, making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. He owns 10 rental properties. He's a millionaire. And he's making like $45,000 a year for the last 15 years.
Never had a big payday, just kind of...
Never had a big payday, didn't come from any money, nothing. Just saved and bought one after another over the years. And
that's pretty cool. Yeah, in one of his studies, 2 of the people were public school teachers, never made a great deal of money, and didn't overly deprive themselves. I mean, you mentioned eating peanut butter, and you do have to like make
it's
some
good sandwich.
It's
not depriving yourself.
That's right. Extra peanut butter on there, you do it right.
Yeah.
So one of the prerequisites for the saver investor method is you gotta save before you can invest, right?
Right.
So that's really the key is figuring out a way to save around 20% of what you make. One way you can do that, if it's just like hit your account and then all of a sudden it's gone. I know some people here have Susan kind of split their commission checks and put 20% in a separate account that is more different, doesn't get mixed in with their daily nightlife budget.
Right.
So think about doing something like that, but getting in that habit of saving 20% if you can. It's never too early. It's kind of like our tree planting. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Same with saving, right? The best time to start your savings plan, and the second best time is today, right? So it's never too late. So think about that. Just stay consistent. Over time, gradually. It's like your least sexy way to become a millionaire, but it's also your most common and your most surefire way to make it happen, really. So I thought that was a good reminder. Interesting. And stuff like this, like keep a scorecard of your daily work and your activity. This isn't something that's super...
this thing's good, I think our business is tough. Nobody makes you show up and be here, and so you need somebody to hold you accountable, and this is a good way to go about doing that. Everybody kind of has their ways, but you need to be doing something to keep yourself accountable.
So you probably do something similar. You might do this exactly. What's your do you do any goals or?
Yeah, I do my goals in my book and just go over them. And one thing, we were looking at the quotes, and I was kind of thinking about it as a quote, but it kind of fits more for this, was the idea of the tyranny of the urgent in our business is just rushing from one little thing to the next, and you have this crazy busy day and you kind of got nothing accomplished.
Yeah.
And that's why writing stuff down, what is really important and what do I really need to get done, it's important to do that, because then you can focus on those things, and you kind of start with the year goals, but also have these weekly goals and monthly goals to get to those year goals, and to make sure that you're accomplishing something and not just running around for your clients whenever some little issue happens. You obviously want to be able to help them, but you can spend your whole time kind of in that rat race and not get anything done, but be so busy. So
I think that's we've talked about that before, either just like, what are the 3 most important things I need to get done? So I know I'm going to get interrupted. I know I'm going to have to run, do this and that, but a successful day looks like getting these 3 things checked off.
It's your Warren Buffett thing, like write down your 25 goals and circle the top 5 and throw everything else out.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you got to really hone it in and focus on honing it in, or you'll just be busy doing a bunch of nothing.
Right. Okay, so these came across the, any good list, you either got like 3 things or 5 or 10. This is a 10 list.
Okay.
So 10 upgrades that are pretty simple, that if someone's asking you like, hey, I'd like you to list my home, what advice do you have? Or I'm interviewing agents, what are some things, like I don't have a ton to spend, what are some things that you can recommend? And so this isn't your list. I want you to comment on whether or not this list is good. We'll just kind of tick through them real quick. No-brainer ideas here. Declutter, all right? So most people have too much stuff. If they're moving, it's never too early to start paring everything down. Clear out the overstuffed closets.
100%. Less is more, people,
Yeah, less is
you
more.
don't really live there, like it shouldn't feel like you live there.
Yeah.
Pictures down, we want to focus on the house. We don't
Pictures down, I like that.
Yeah, we don't want to be, do I know that person?
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Amp up the house numbers. I never thought about this. Not finding a property because the address is hiding behind overgrown shrubs. The original house numbers are 2 inches tall. It leaves a horrible first impression on buyers, so encourage your sellers to install high style, high visibility house numbers and make sure there's plenty of light.
I love this one. This one's like a big one. It's cheap and it really makes a difference. So
cool. We're 2 for 2.
Yeah.
All right. Make a great first impression. There's only one chance to make a good first impression. We've all heard that. So most people decide within 10 seconds if they like a home or not. So curb appeal, front yard, entrance, very crucial.
Smell too, I think. So like
Smell.
candle, something.
I mean, I remember when we were looking at houses early on, you just walk in and you're like, I'm out on the smell.
Yeah, right.
Grandma's been in here too long.
Right.
Upgrade the lighting. So from the front porch light, a dining room chandelier. If the sellers haven't replaced the fixtures, so that's something that you can find like a $50 fixture, and it's pretty easy. I think every agent ought to have 1 or 2 handy people that can just knock stuff out for them, and just like, hey, I've got as an agent, you're talking to a client, I've got a guy who can knock these lights out for you.
Yeah, if you don't have that, you definitely should be trying to make that list.
Make it easy. Don't throw a bunch of stuff on your seller and be like, you need to do all these things, and I'm off to the next thing. Just kind of help them.
And we're people connectors, so that's like definitely need to have that list. The upgrade lighting is the least of, maybe that's why it's 4th of the ones we've had so far.
Okay.
It's a good one depending on how much your seller is willing to spend, and then secondly, it's just a taste thing. You know, if it's really bad, you need to change it. Just make it go away, kind of.
Gotcha. All right. This is controversial a little bit. Install new outlet covers and switch plates.
So obviously, this again is dependent on the budget, but it's tough because the cover's one thing and simple. Install, taking out, getting the electrician to do all the rest. So
if you replace just the cover, you can still have the switch inside it that's
color.
Yellowed or whatever,
right.
And so that looks a little.
So obviously, if you can afford to do it, do it, it definitely does make
And
a difference.
you're saying replace all the fixtures, and particularly maybe in the living room or in the most,
Yeah,
visible room that they're going in.
but one thing too, I think, is paint is something that sometimes you can kind of mask a little bit of it with paint by just picking a color that's lighter. You're not gonna. The goal would just be maybe paint it all white and make every color go away, but pick something that's a light color that helps make the switch plates go away if they're that old.
Particulars, both the receptacle and the, it fixes it.
I have to see that, but that sounds like the move.
Yeah, that might be.
Look around the office here.
Yeah, we got them at the office. We had the same problem, and
Yeah.
it looked great. Right?
Yeah, they look awesome.
All right.
All right.
Nix dated window and wall treatments. Again, less is more, right? So just get those.
And natural light is better, and
natural light.
people are going to want to pick out their own stuff. So yeah, especially if it's dated, just pull it down.
Think mirrors, okay? So baths, kitchens. So upgrade. Maybe the bathroom mirror. Never thought about that. Is that higher on your list?
It's probably down at 7. This would be a great seller that's willing to do all these things.
All right. Now this is interesting. So you like your kitchen hardware, your bath hardware. It's like you don't want to necessarily go and redo all the cabinets, right?
Mhm.
But
This
find
again is a
one
great
that-
thing. It's dependent on the house. Sometimes the cabinets are so bad that replacing the hardware isn't going to be that helpful. So
Okay.
maybe just stay away from that. Again, I think paint on the walls helps make things pop and maybe take away from the fact, because sometimes too that somebody's going to buy it and just replace the cabinets anyways,
Yeah.
if they're bad. But if
kinda-
the cabinets are in a good spot, that's a great quick fix.
quick fix.
And then all over the board. You say this is my guy, or you give your client, you set it up, or you give me 2 or 3 guys that say call me a bid, or you handle it?
I handle
So
it.
the
I set-
question is about like vendors or like in particular painters. Like when you're recommending someone, do you give them one and say this is my guy to use, or you give them a couple of different options? And
So I'll usually schedule it and get a quote and go with it. But if my client has a painter or they want to use somebody, I'm not going to fight with them over it. I don't feel that highly about it, my guy. But to make it easy, and you get somebody there, you get a quick quote, you make sure that number's good with them, and then you can schedule it. That just takes.
You get the quote, though. You
I'll
want
get
to
the
call, you'll call
quote.
yourself.
Yeah, I'll call my painter and say, hey, I want you to go out, and then I'll tell my client, hey, he's coming Wednesday at 2 to give you a quote, and then we get the quote, and then we discuss it from there.
Cool.
And if they have somebody and they want to get a quote too, or they just have a painter that they want to use, absolutely. But it really matters to get this stuff done, and my goal is to sell the house, and so I want to help that process move and not, like you were saying, dump 10 things and go, here, now figure all this out, and
right,
I'll be back,
yeah, check back in with
working
me.
on my Instagram. So
You need to work on your Instagram.
I know.
You're not even on Instagram.
I need to.
Refresh the backsplash. So if the hardware is updated, kitchens could benefit from reviving the backsplash.
That's a good one, and it's
Pretty
cheap.
pretty
You can
cheap, yeah.
Rip it out and do new. So
Have
I
your
like
towel guy.
Yeah.
Just like
Same
white
thing.
Subway, not too
Right.
expensive. This is a little controversial, and it's number 10. So
Yeah.
replace dated or mismatched appliances. So
I think it fits right in at 10.
not terrible,
That's not, yeah.
But-
if
but
somebody's
probably-
willing to do it, that's great. But
but not probably something you're doing on every.
again, somebody maybe would want to pick out their own stuff. And
yeah.
one or two that aren't on here that I would put up in the top 5 somewhere. Well, I guess really you heard me say paint. So that's 3. Paint really matters. Staging, like just sometimes even just getting people's stuff all the way out and going, look, we're just get all your stuff out and stage it. Staging is a big bang for your buck. One, I would always do it on my own house, so I always say that to people. And then 2, it's just $3,000 to $5,000. A price drop will always be more than that. So making that best first impression, you want to stage it at the beginning so that the people that see the house that are most interested in it, because that's your group that's most interested in those first 30 days, that those people see it in the best shape. So waiting to stage it, well, let's see how it goes at first and then stage it. No, you want to do that right out of the gates. And then landscaping, I really think cleaning up, that's again first impression, but when you pull up, that's not super expensive, a couple bushes, mulching a bed, that is something else that, I guess those kind of all fall into that first impression, but those are the things that really can make it pop when you're walking up, when you walk in the door, that you want that to really pop, and I feel like you get the most bang for your buck with landscaping, paint, and staging.
That's great. Great feedback. All right, here we are.
Here we are.
So like I said, we took the top 8 Village Fund recipients, and you guys for the last couple of weeks have been voting on them, and we are going to reveal the top 3. The third place finisher is going to get $5,000 contribution. The second place finisher is going to get $7,500, and the first place is getting $10,000 from the Village Fund. So this is pretty awesome. You got any guesses? All right. Number 3. Second Harvest Food Bank. They give like 2,000 meals out per week. I mean, it's an awesome organization. I mean, what's more important than helping solve the hunger problem? So really excited that is one of the ones we'll be helping out with. Number 2, the Martha O'Brien Center. So another just stalwart in Nashville. And what they do, particularly in the East Nashville area, they've got, just everything from helping, transform the lives of people in those public housing communities in particular in East Nashville. It's just, they've got a school that they're doing, and they're helping with entrepreneurial programs, and then just daily life needs that these people have. So really excited about that one. Pete Jones is actually involved heavily in that. I'm sure a number of others of you are as well. Finally, number 1, Thistle Farm.
Nice.
Yeah, isn't that
I was hoping it would be that for Rachel, because I know she wanted it to be.
exciting? You gotta
My
love
goodness, I don't know a bunch of what all these other ones do, but I know Rachel, and that's
right.
what a story. I mean, it's amazing.
And the story's not unique,
Yeah.
the impact they've had on her. It's just over and over. They've got a really good system program. We're actually going to have them come and present at our next sales meeting, which will be not next Tuesday, but the first one in December, and talk about kind of what's going on in their program and how they can use this gift to further what's going on. So pretty exciting stuff.
Awesome.
Thanks everyone for doing it. It's pretty easy. All we want to do is facilitate the giving. We don't want credit for it. We're not about making the Village Fund overly prominent. We want to help you give. When you have a commission check, you can give a percentage or a fixed dollar amount. It goes to any 501c3 that you choose. You get the credit for it. We just kind of want to facilitate the giving and make it easy, because we're a generous bunch, and we think it's awesome to invest in the communities where we live. So coming soon. Don't forget to update those. We'll send them out with the summary. Takeaways. Wow, we had a lot. Rachel got the millionaire. How to, your most successful way to become financially independent is the saver investor model.
Yep. Peanut butter and jelly is a good sandwich.
Peanut butter and jelly. The Seahorse.
The Seahorse. Yeah.
Got started with that, didn't you? Came strong.
Came in hot. So.
Misused the word literally.
Right.
Well, anyway, thanks for being with us, and we'll be obviously around here, but if we don't see you before your Thanksgiving plans, stay safe and have a great one. And we'll see you soon.